Well, what is up, everybody? I am Mega Short Fuse, and oh boy, this is gonna be a long one. I just got done playing the whole Need for Speed The Run demo, and I didn't feel like live commentating it would do the game any justice, so I just decided, at least in respect to one of my favorite franchises of all time, to do this, you know, post after the fact commentary. And this is, as I said, the whole demo, so that means the two stages, and I'm using the Gallardo. I originally played it with the Carrera S, which I think looks great for a German-engineered car. Let's face it, they have rare gems. See, I think this looks nice. Like, it is a 911, but still. Let me just lead right into my concerns for this game. Now, this, I've mentioned before, is being developed by Black Box. And the reason why I'm very, very cautious about this is because Black Box are the ones that did Need for Speed Undercover. And I honestly to God hate that game. I don't know how I played that much of it. I've played 800 online matches. 800. I've won like 700 of them. And most of them were with a fucking Shelby GT500E. Now, I love that car to death, but that thing has no... Look, those aren't balance issues, I'm just nagging here, but the most important part is that game controlled like shit. I don't know how the fuck that happened, or how I was even liking it, but that game controlled like ass. Cars couldn't turn. It was either way too much oversteer, way too much understeer. It's just stupid, the amount of control you didn't have. And does the run succeed on that front? Yes, I think I can safely say it does. Is it as good as last year's Hot Pursuit? No. The control scheme isn't as good as last year's, mainly because it's more realistic. Now, I have nothing against realism, and I am going to get used to this since I am buying this. But it is very grounded in reality, like understeer, drag, all of this I think factors in, and as you can see, the car is very, very hard to control when it's, you know, going out of control and spinning out, or you bump into something. It's just like in real life, I dare say. I don't know. But this is a feature that's kind of interesting. As you just saw, Rewind has been lifted straight from Forza and into this. And I don't know how I feel about this. Now, I do know you have a limited amount of rewinds, which I'm going to check if they reset on the next checkpoints. But yeah, you do have a limited amount of rewinds, and since this is a story-heavy game, dare I call it, the rewinds kind of make sense. Instead of restarting the whole stage, it just kind of puts you right back into the action, you know, like the rewind feature on the DVD, for example. So that's how I rationalize it, and you know, think of it what you will, but it ain't bad, you know, it ain't bad to say the least. The graphics, this I think looks great. It's going to look even better on the PC version, which I'm getting since I just saw the specs today, and the recommended specs. I'm not a graphics score by any means, but it's gonna be nice looking in something from what the Frostbite 2 engine can actually produce. So, graphics are great, but story. Now, again, I am very cautious about this since Most Wanted actually, as cheesy as it was, you guys know, Most Wanted had a decent story. It was tied together, the acting wasn't bad. I personally think Carbon's acting and story were better, and setting, but for what it's worth, Most Wanted is a great game with a great story. This, I don't know, but focusing on Black Box's last Need for Speed title, namely Undercover, that made no fucking sense story-wise. Like, Maggie Q, I don't remember anything from her performance. Granted, it was like, what, three years ago. Not that I particularly care, but I don't remember jack shit from that game. The plot twist made no sense. The only fun I had was in the, you know, the sporadic missions where you were giving like a car. There was one which directly ripped off the transporter. I don't know. Those were kind of fun. But yeah, the story as a whole not very good. This, however, it's taking the approach of the Cannonball Run, and for you guys who don't know what the Cannonball Run is, I would say Google it, but hey, what the hell? It's basically a comedy. It's a driving comedy. There's no such genre, but it is a comedy with cars in it, and it basically involves a cross-country race to get to a prize purse of $1 million. And that's basically the same thing, but for 25 mil, and it's more serious. Whereas the Cannonball Run had a star-studded cast, and some of the stars weren't even stars. For example, you had Jackie Chan driving a souped-up Subaru with a rocket engine, I think it was. I haven't seen the movie, mind you. I've just read a lot about it and seen clips from it. You had Roger Moore, who is, to this day, one of my favorite Bonds, James Bonds, being himself. And this is actually kind of funny. Spoiler territory. We're entering spoiler territory for a 30-year-old movie, but Roger Moore plays James Bond, basically. Roger Moore plays a guy who thinks he's Roger Moore, who's playing James Bond. It's very convoluted and confusing, but it's great. And if I can talk about the gameplay for a second, this stage I really liked. I don't think the ice and snow affected the car as much as they would realistically, but that's okay. I think that's great. The falling debris, or debris, if you're Bear Grylls and you're watching this, hello. So the flying debris actually slowed you down, and that was a dickish move. I apologize. AI. I'm not gonna do that again. Then it's a lie. I'm gonna hit him as much as I want. But yeah, the debris, as you can see in a second, really slows you down. As you see here, clearly, easily passes me just because I'm hitting stuff. So I'm guessing stuff has weight in this game. Like, you hit something, it slows you down. Not the usual racing game conundrums of just plowing through everything on the sidewalk and it not affecting you at all. So in that sense, great, it works. But the story, I'm digressing. The story, I don't know. It remains to be seen. I am not one to complain about the on-foot sections if they add something to the story, because I do like me a good story. And hey, I like God of War's QTEs, so why the hell not? That's the simplest conclusion I could come to. But yeah, now, are my concerns alleviated? Am I justified in saying that I'm still cautious about this? I'm not really sure I am. They really have delivered on just a racing game. It might not be as arcadey as last year's great Hot Pursuit, which I love. It's just that there's this cautious factor I have just because I don't like Black Box because of their previous outing. Whereas last year, Criterion Games, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, fuck yes, this is gonna be awesome, because I love Burnout Paradise. But oh boy, this is a tricky one to call. It's still just a demo, but the controls are decent. I'm not gonna call them as atrocious as Undercover's, but they're gonna take some getting used to. And drifting is sadly gone, and that was epic. Drifting is sadly not in my repertoire. I don't think it's gonna be, at least in this game, because it's hard to drift. It is very hard. But yeah, for pure cinematic value, this is great. I think that the Frostbite 2 engine effects are going to add a lot to the experience of this game. But let's just cross our fingers and hope and pray that this is not as terrible as Undercover. I just keep harping back to this, but after last year's great outing and Undercover existing, I'm on the edge, man. I am gonna pre-order it, so we shall see. And this is coming to an end, so thank you guys for bearing with me in this very heart-to-heart rant about my favorite franchise, or one of my favorite franchises. Screw it, it is my favorite franchise, goddammit. I would encourage you to share this with other racing fans if you so please. I'm not outright commending you, I'm just, politely nudging you in the right direction. So yeah, thanks for watching, and more racing, people. More racing. I don't know what that means.